Great, good morning. This is Greg Wadley. I'm with CTC and Associates. I'm the Clear Roads Administrator. So we're here for an implementation webinar, which we've been doing a couple implementation webinars a year now for the past a few years. And typically, this is something that's a project that's been completed. Not always, but oftentimes it's a Clear Roads project where we're trying to share the findings of that project, and we need some time for it to be implemented before we come back and revisit it with a webinar. And so that's what we're doing here. This is a project, this webinar is probably loosely based on the maintenance vehicle conspicuity project that we did back in 2016, but I know Jeff Pfeiffer, our presenter, is a fleet manager in West Virginia and has done a lot with this over the years. So we really wanted to capture this before he headed on out the door. So anyway, this webinar is being recorded and it'll be posted on the Clear Roads website under the webinars or videos and other, I think it's webinars and other videos page under resources shortly. So you'll be able to, if you don't catch it now, you'll be able to, or you want to review it again later, you can certainly do that. We ask that unless you're speaking, please remain off camera and keep your microphone on mute. However, if you do have comments or questions, please enter them into the chat box and we'll address them at the end of the presentation. Jeff, I know when you're in presentation mode, you can't see anything, so I'll keep an eye on things for you and then alert you if there's anything we need to talk about. So I'll turn it over to you, Jeff.
Okay. With this, as Greg said, it's kind of a two-man show today. I'll start off with West Virginia's side of things, and then Dan's going to finish out this little presentation. And as we prepared for this the other day, we started talking about some other things that are going on with PennDOT, and I think he's going to talk about that in his presentation. But usually West Virginia is about 10 years to 15 years behind what PennDOT's doing. Seems to be the norm. So the fact that our trucks are now yellow like PennDOT's is probably a result of that 10 to 15 year lag period. But I'll go ahead and get started with my presentation because a lot of the things that PennDOT has already implemented, we're just getting around to, and that'll show up in here. So my presentation is basically going to be a little bit of the legacy of what we've had here at West Virginia, what we're currently using, and some of the things that are on the table for future to make our vehicles more conspicuous out on the road and safer. So I'll start off with our legacy, and that's what we've had. So I'll throw up some pictures here. The picture at the top is a pickup truck that I got through GSA. It's a military 1.25 ton pickup truck, and then I had our body shop painted up in the old color scheme. We use this one here at the equipment division. So you can see it was yellow, had a blue hood. There's no conspicuity tape anywhere on the thing. The shield badge that we used to use was non-reflective and small. That's what's on the door. And then our ED number for the vehicle is below that in a small font, or not very easy to see in those pictures. Then down below that pickup truck is one of our bridge inspection trucks, and I just captured it because that is the outgoing color scheme. We still have a lot of those trucks in the fleet as far as dump trucks and bigger Class 8 tractor type vehicles that have the white paint with the blue and gold tape and the smaller shield badge, which is reflective, and then a larger ED number on it. The reason they went from the yellow and blue to the white was at the time in the 90s, it was viewed as a cost savings. It was easier to get fleet white vehicles than it was to order a painted vehicle. It was usually cheaper to do that as well. The problem is white vehicles don't show up in the snow very well. the issue that we've had. And we have gotten a lot of comments back from the public as to that fact, and the fact that our trucks look a lot like Verizon trucks, or used to. They've changed their color scheme up on their striping a little bit, but we had our vehicles being mistaken for other vehicles. So with that, I'll move on. So now I'm going to move into what is our current color scheme. And as I mentioned earlier, we've gone to a yellow. Now this was the color that we have on our Freightliner trucks is it's a brand specific yellow, and only our Freightliners are this color. Everything else that we're building now is a school bus yellow, just a national school bus yellow. And I'm pretty sure that's what PennDOT's using. I know other DOTs are using the school bus yellow color on their vehicles. But this is our Freightliner tandem. As you can see, we've gone to the yellow cab. We now have dual blue reflective striping tape on the cab itself. There's a larger reflective shield logo on the door and a larger ED number to identify it. We've also gone to an LED lighting package. We're using the Whelen product. In the picture, you can see there's a lot of red and white DOT tape. We put that down the side of the bed. The tailgate's off this bed because the spreader's in it. And then on the spreader, or on the tailgate, we'll put the striping down in between. If you look at the side of the bed, you've got those buttress points that come out. It's like corrugated. We'll run the red and white tape on the tailgate in the lower piece that's tucked back in. And we'll put that in every slat. That's kind of our take on the full panel chevron or batten board currently. Because of the shape of our tailgate, we can't run that tape effectively. And I'll talk about that in a few slides forward. But what we do is on the back of our spreaders, we put the slow moving hazard panel like you would see on a tractor, and we've got the keep back 100-foot reflective panel, and then we've also added some the DOT red and white tape back there as well. Now this next slide is actually I don't know if it's going to play. This was going to show you the lights and stuff. Do you have any idea what I need to do with that, Greg, to get it to play on the?
Jeff, you should be able to go down to that
Sorry.
left corner and just hit the play button. If you can see it there.
Left. It says it's playing. Oh,
there it goes.
There it goes.
Okay. So this is the truck. I was just going to walk around to show you what the lighting is on it currently. And we're running amber is the only thing we're supposed to be running at this time, but some of our trucks have switched out to amber and white. They've done that at the district level, not at the central headquarter level or central equipment division level. Okay, so moving on. Oops. All right, so this is our new single axle. This is one of our new internationals. You can see we're basically using the same kind of idea. We did use a smaller shield on the door just because of it didn't look right with the bigger shield. So it was a vanity thing. But we still are running the two blue reflective stripes on it, as well as the DOT red and white tape down the side of the beds. And we treat the tailgates on these trucks the same as well. This truck had just come in. It's brand new. It was down at the radio room to get a radio in it. So we haven't put the DOT tape and the keep back and the orange panels on the back of the spreader yet, but this will get that same treatment as well. You'll notice where that truck is sitting. And this was a couple weeks ago when I took this. It was a solid sheet of ice underneath the truck. So you'll notice a little bit of a bobble when I'm doing the walk around here. And that's when I just about went down on my wallet because I the ice was so slick. But I'll go ahead and get that playing here. You can see we're just running the amber lights on this one as well. But when they go out to the districts, our district shops like to put the white lights in there as well. And that was where I just about fell down right there. Okay. All right. So those are our dump trucks. This is one of our road tractors from here at the equipment division that we run. And you can see we're running the same paint scheme on it as well. We run, you can kind of see it up there behind the stack. Instead of running like an LED light package all the way around, we use the LED light bar up on top of like your headache rack. And we don't have the red and white DOT tape on this, but we run it really heavy on our trailers. So when they're pulling trailers, they've got plenty of Conspicuity tape on them. Now these two vehicles, these are some of the new vans we just got in. And with our fleet vehicles, we are sticking with the white color scheme with the blue and gold tape, like our old ones. The reason for that is we have had difficulty. We buy our vehicles through state purchasing, and they will not put school bus yellow on the contracts for us to buy it. And I've tried over and over again because we're the largest purchaser of vehicles, but they just won't do it. I basically have the choice of white, black, red, silver, just your stock colors. They won't. The yellow is not something that these Ford or Chevy or Dodge will run normally. It's like a special run color, so there's an upcharge, and I've already told them that I'm willing to pay that upcharge, but they won't put it in the contract. The one down in the lower right there is a color scheme that's specific to the equipment division here. It's blue metallic with gold stripes. It looks pretty similar. If you've ever seen our state police vehicles when you're driving through the state of West Virginia, this is kind of the color scheme they run. I did this just to differentiate our stuff. We utilize these here on site and for our own purposes. Most of this stuff is GSA acquired, and then we paint it to that. And our training academy, the trucks that we use to train our drivers, will paint them up in this color scheme as well. It just kind of differentiates it away from normal operation vehicle, makes it stand out. The body shop, my lead body shop guy hates this blue color. He said it looks too purple to him. So they've taken to calling it Piper blue. I guess that's like a take of Prussian blue, but that's kind of like their endearing term for it. We still use the reflective tape for the striping on these vehicles, and the DOT tape will stab it on wherever we can put it. So for the future, there's a couple of things. One of the future things on my list here has come to fruition. Our legislature approved the use of green warning lights on DOH vehicles in February. I have personally been pushing here at DOH for the green LEDs ever since I saw them in Ohio. And I talked to Scott Lucas about them back in, I think it was 2013. So, you're at over 10 years, possibly 13 years, I've been carrying this torch trying to get these green lights on vehicles, and we finally got it approved. Everybody else around us seems to have already taken that on. I'm not sure if Kentucky's adopted that yet or not, but I do know that Maryland and PennDOT and ODOT have them, and I'm sure VDOT's probably got them as well. But I'm just happy to finally get this through before I retire. It's kind of like my mic drop moment. On our trucks, I mentioned that we were running the Wheeling light packages. A couple of the newer trucks that we have been delivered with the Wheeling core control system, which allows for synchronization between vehicles when you're on site, so you get away from that disco strobe effect and they all are in sync and flashing together. That would also work with any emergency vehicle that would be on site as well, be that a fire truck or a police car or an ambulance that has that same system. They'll all sync together. But we don't have enough vehicles. We only have a few in the fleet now, so it's not really effective. But that's something for future that we may spec onto the trucks. We also are looking at, and I know a lot of other states have done this, and I forget which one I saw it in recently, but they've taken to putting a sign panel on their tailgates to eliminate that corrugated effect that's there. And then they put a sheet of either chevron or batten board pattern on there with the reflective tape. And that's one of the things that I've been looking at here, is how we could do that effectively. And we haven't done it, like I'm saying, but it's one of the things that we are considering. So moving forward with just to add to the green light thing, when I was in Montana for the Equipment Managers Technical Service Program in fall of 24, or not Montana, but Loveland, Colorado, Montana gave a presentation on their green light packages that they had put on their trucks. And this slide was in that presentation. And this one was the one I brought back and really used to really push this issue back here. And that is, the human eye can pick up, is most sensitive to light that's in that 555 nanometer wavelength, which is a bright green color. So green is a better color to pick up than your amber or your red, your blue, any of those other colors. And that was the thing I noticed when I first saw them at PennDOT, was how much that, or not PennDOT, ODOT, was how much that green light stood out and really caught my eye. And since then, I've noticed, like with Maryland's trucks, and then contractors that come into our state have been using those green lights for a while, and just how much effective it is at getting your attention. And this is kind of a demonstration or an example of what I was talking about, putting the panels on the back of the truck. Here they've got them on the back of a pickup truck, but that's the idea of what I've got in mind for putting on the tailgates of our dump trucks. And this is from NCHRP Project 05-24, Guidelines for Vehicle Marking and Equipment Color Marking and Lighting. The use of our slide-in spreader, like I mentioned earlier, requires the removal of the tailgate, so you lose this effect. But then this would be on there when you're using the truck the rest of the time, on work site or out hauling materials. So with that, that's what West Virginia has done pretty much. I will mention that Mark Goldstein gave me a report way back in the day, which I have subsequently lost twice because he's given it to me twice, but it was a DuPont study from, it was either the late 60s or the early 70s, where they looked into colors that should be utilized. Mostly they were looking at airport vehicles and fire trucks, but they found that kind of, I don't know if you call it chartreuse or puce green, that you see on a lot of like airport fire trucks, is one of the best colors to put on your truck. So it's something in that yellow color scheme. I wish I still had that report. Mark was looking to see if he could find it again, because it was.
Jeff, I'm on it. I got the report. I found it today. It's the Ziegler DuPont study. I'll show you guys. I'll send it to this group.
Excellent. So there was a lot of good information in that, and that was one of the reasons that led to us going to yellow. We did not go to the kind of puke green, but we did go to yellow, and that kind of ties into West Virginia's color scheme, since the Mountaineers are blue and gold. So with that, I'll sign off, and I will see if I can get this shut down so Dan can get into it. Let's see. Stop sharing. Okay. You guys got control again?
I should.
Okay.
You folks can see my screen, correct?
You bet.
Yeah, I can see the whole. Yep.
There you go.
Okay, excellent. So good morning. Thanks, Jeff, for leading us into this, into the Conspicuity tape discussion. And I had to take a whole weekend on practicing saying Conspicuity to make sure we had it right. But so yeah, so working off of what Jeff already worked on here, and working through where PennDOT's at with pretty much our vehicle visibility. And it's not just as Jeff went through, it wasn't just the tape and the lights and stuff like that. There's multiple effects to it. So I'm going to do the same thing as Jeff here and kind of walk you through time of where PennDOT was to where we're at, and even looking into what's the future hold for us. So back in the 90s and early 2000s, these are the best pictures I could get for them. PennDOT started. We went from the Department of Highways in 1970 to Pennsylvania Department of Transportation at that point in time. But finding pictures back in the 70s, 80s, et cetera, are kind of tough sometimes. Cameras weren't, you had to physically carry a camera around with you, where now everyone has one in their pocket. So it definitely changed how many pictures we can get. But so to paint the picture in the 90s and early 2000s, but even from the 70s up, we had a basic lighting package, and even our conspicuity on the back of the trucks were very basic. As you can see here, our trucks were sometimes just a single bubble light on the roof. The tailgate was just we did have some conspicuity coming in. It was just a black striping on the back. Now those black stripes were reflective when the light hit them. But that's how we broke them out. That's how you can see them. We did have some tailgate flashers in the back. That's about it. Very basic lighting packages. Nothing to write home on by no means. So then looking into the mid 2000s to 2024, PennDOT started upgrading their lighting packages. We as well went to the LED strobe light packages on our trucks. In Pennsylvania, we have a hodgepodge of equipment, I'm going to say. For the most part, we were always pretty good on the tandems were always Max, and our single axles were typically either Sterlings or Internationals most of the time. In the recent years, we've been having issues with getting vendors to be able to fulfill orders. We order 200 plus dump trucks a year in PennDOT, and Mac and International, all of them have come back and said we can't fulfill that anymore. Like it's too straining on them. So we now have select. I'm going to call it a select bid, where they can tell us what they can build X amount of trucks for us at this price, and then we pick. So this past year we ended up getting some Max Internationals. We got a couple Peterbilts in there. I think we got a couple Western Stars now. So if you come to Pennsylvania, you may see 4 or 5 different manufacturers out on the road. But our light packages have all stayed the same for them all. What other manufacturer we have, the lighting is universal. So all of our trucks have these LED strobe lights on the top. This is mid 2000s to 2024. So this is majority of the trucks you're going to see on our road look like this at this point in time. As you can see, our Conspicuity tape on the tailgate, we went from just that black striping to now we have the red, yellow, or lime green striping to make it stand out even more, to try to make people not hit us. Our foreman's crew cabs, we even added lighting into the grill area along the side, so it's not just that one light on the top anymore. We have grill lights, things like that. That was in the 2000s to 2024 era. So coming into present day, what we have working in the present day, as you can see here, we did get into some green lights. We will go into that a little more in depth here in the coming slides. But we also added that, as you can see on these trucks going by in the video, we had added a light bar on the new trucks coming in. So now they not only have the LED strobe lights around the entire truck, but they also have a light bar mounted on the headache rack on the top now. The foreman's crew cabs, 90% of them now have aero boards mounted in the bed of them, so they can utilize that aero board to help direct traffic if needed, or whatever they have going on, just to add additional visibility. The Foreman's crew cabs also have that red and lime green Conspicuity tape on the back of them now as well. I don't have a picture of it, but that is on the back of them as well now. So why are we doing this? Why are we adding the lights? Why are we trying to make people see us? This is what we're dealing with. We have lights on, we have Conspicuity tape, and everything. As you can see in these videos, nice clear day, straight stretch of roads, and well, yeah, people are still hitting us. So we have to try everything we can to protect ourselves. The lighting and the reflectivity of our trucks is crucial in trying to get their attention, trying to make them avoid us. But there's other common factors, and I think we all know what they are, and we'll follow into that here in a little bit. But this is just some vision of what's happening, and these are recent. These are within the crash truck video. There's from 2017, so it's a little older. But that Jeep hitting our paint truck, that was just last summer. So they're definitely hitting us, and if we watch that Jeep coming up the road, we can definitely tell. It's like a 2-minute long video, and they were all over the road doing something in their vehicle, which we could only guess included a small handheld device, but I am not a law enforcement officer to say so. So as Jeff mentioned, the green lights, PennDOT just recently, we were able to go to the green lights on maintenance vehicles in Pennsylvania. That was part of that was, let me restart this video here. I'm sorry. There we go. This took multiple years for us to achieve that. It was a joint initiative with partners with the Association of Pennsylvania Contractors as well as the PA Turnpike, helping us push to get these green lights on maintenance vehicles. I believe it was the end of 2024 is when we finally got approvals from legislation to go on, and we immediately started getting them installed to the point of we sent out to our counties. We have 67 counties. We sent them out packages on how to upfit original lights into adding the green lights as well into their current packages. So they have them. All new trucks coming out of our fleet management will now have green lights on them, including our management vehicles. When they get new light bars, will have green lights on them as well. When we go to share these slides out, I did include the links in here, so it gives the announcement of our green lights in maintenance vehicles at PennDOT, but as well as the regulation and the law that we have written in for flashing and revolving lights on emergency and authorized vehicles. So that includes the green lights now. So if your state is interested in that, you could reference this and utilize it to help build your case on what you need. But as Jeff had mentioned, that study from Missouri was really helpful in us making our case for getting the green lights in. So Missouri, thank you for that study for sure, as that helped us build our case to get them involved. We have had nothing but positive feedback from not only the field, our own personnel, but even the public are saying we can really see you guys standing out more. The only negative we have heard thus far was from some fire companies here and there have said, well, the green light means that's a command post. And we're like, well, if your command post is driving down the road, good luck catching up to it. But other than that, it's been very, very minor negative feedback. It's been a lot of positive feedback on how these green lights have really helped our trucks stand out. So we'll take the couple negative comments with it and roll. So other technology that we have is this Conspicuity tape. What good is it if you can't see it? So anyone that works winter maintenance has seen your trucks in the back that they get covered with snow and ice and even salt at times, where it'll cover so bright, so thick that the lights are covered up everything. And with the technology of LED, yeah, it's great, it's bright, but it doesn't produce any heat, so it doesn't melt the snow off your lights anymore like it used to. And even the older lights that did produce heat, you get enough snow built up back there that, yeah, you still had to clean that off because it would still cover those lights up as well. So we really tell our operators and stuff, hey, you need to make sure when you're turning around, when you're things like that, like do a walk around the vehicle, make sure you can be seen, make sure your lights are cleared off, things like that. And some operators do very well with it. Others, you can't sometimes. There's just different things. So one of the technologies that we got is airfoil innovation. So this airfoil, we piloted it, I think about 2 years ago. This airfoil mounts to the back of the tailgate. As you can see, we use tailgate spreaders everywhere in Pennsylvania, or for PennDOT at least. We don't use any slide-in units except for our brine, some of our brine tankers that we utilize slide-in units for them. But the majority of our trucks, pretty much 99.9% of the trucks that are spreading a solid material, are a tailgate spreader style on the back. So we don't have to worry about taking the tailgate on and off. But so this airfoil gets mounted on the top of that tailgate, and as you drive down the road, it catches air like a big spoiler and just blows air down across the tailgate and the lights, keeping it clear of snow, ice, things like that. We've had very good success with it, actually. So this past year, it actually got approved to be an approved device added onto the trucks. But we did make it that it's up to the county level to signify that they want to mount it on. We're not speccing the truck with this on. This is going to be a case-by-case scenario where if they want them on, they can put them on. I think we're going to see some of our areas having more of them and some not, until there's more buy-in possibly from our field folks that they do want them. This airfoil here that you see is made in-house by our Department of Corrections. So they make them in-house for us. We just order them. It's a couple bolts to bolt it on. They are looking at redesigning it. As you can see, it looks like it sticks up there pretty far. So they were looking at kind of doing a redesign of that to make it so it's a little lower. Couple of concerns there is, number one, is it going to block that light bar that we're now adding on the top of the trucks? And number two is if you've ever worked out in the field with maintenance, you can tell that our loader operators will hit anything and everything possible, including roof rafters, sides of buildings. So yeah, this looks like a big target as well that they may hit as well. So just things that we need to work through of fine tuning, but this is a product that's out there for sure. So looking into the future and how do we keep people from hitting us? We say add lights, add reflectivity, all this stuff. But if you're not paying attention to the road and you're paying attention to maybe a device or you're distracted in your car, how can we get your attention that we're ahead of you? So looking at technology in the future, we have geotab devices in every one of our plow trucks. And even our foreman's crew cabs. So those are the main items that are out on the road and the main items that are getting hit. So one of the things we're working on is we are working on tapping into our emergency lighting package. And when those emergency lights are on, we're going to have it set up that it will feed directly out to 511, our 511 network, Google Maps and Waze, alerting you that there's a maintenance vehicle ahead. We haven't crossed that bridge yet. We're very close to it. We're to the point now that we can see when the bubble lights are on in our vehicles. We're just not to the point of partnering with Google and Waze yet on that platform. But I would say in the next coming months, I think we're going to be there, where they will digest our data more and actually signify us as being on there. There is a company out there that you may have heard of called Haas. It works very similar to this. We looked into that and we thought about going that route, but the cost effectiveness of it, it signified that, hey, we could do this in-house and internally ourselves. It's going to take a little more time to get there, but we're going to save a huge amount of money by doing it internally ourselves at that level. So that's where we're looking at the future of trying to break into people's devices, telling them that we're ahead. Please don't run into us, and just trying to do anything we can to alert the motorists that we're in front of them. So not only, again, is it the lighting packages and the Conspicuity tape, but it's even using technology to our advantage of what's in the passenger vehicles, cars that are coming up behind us or in front of us. that we can alert them that we're there. So to close things out, I wanted to show you the 100 years of changes of PennDOT, or just of trucks and passenger vehicles in general. So you figure in 1925 that the first Mack dump truck was out there. That was the first gen Macks that were out. In 1933, that's when Ford started offering AM radios in passenger vehicles. That was an option. Not all vehicles had even radios in them yet. By 1950, seatbelts became optional in cars. And as you can see, too, the speeds are starting to creep up a little. In the 50s, we're looking at average speeds of passenger vehicles of 45 to 60 miles per hour, with top speeds of only 75 to 95 mile an hour. We call that a Tuesday now on our interstate system. So in 1990, as you've seen when we started with the pictures at the beginning of these, just the single bubble light out there, stuff like that. You were looking at average speeds of 50 to 70 mile an hour. The driver's side airbag actually becomes mandatory in passenger vehicles and stuff like that. But looking into where we're at now, we're looking at every vehicle out there has factory installed GPSs, entertainment systems. Everybody driving on the road now pretty much has a cell phone in the vehicle with them. There's so many distractions in the vehicles that people aren't paying attention to the road as much as they used to. The speeds have increased. We're up to 70 to 80 mile an hour is the average speeds for passenger vehicles. And top speeds are 180 to 200 mile an hour for passenger vehicles. So we need to find a way to make sure we're alerting the public that we're out there. We need to be able to be seen. So it's not only the Conspicuity tape, the lights, and the technology, but we also need to make sure there's awareness and make campaigns to let motorists know that we're out there. We want to go home to see our families at the end of the day. And us at PennDOT are doing everything in our capabilities to make that happen. So with that, I'll go ahead and conclude this slide, and we'll have it available for you as well if you guys would like to have it to utilize the links. That's all I have, Jeff.
All right. Thank you to the both of you. Yeah, so let's open it up. Does anybody have questions, comments, or anything that they'd like to share? Stephen?
Good morning, everybody. My name is Steve Beloffice. I'm with the Office of Maintenance here at Minnesota DOT, and I have a question for those that are moving towards green lights. Of those that are doing that, did you previously use blue lights as well, or have you just gone straight from amber to green?
I can tell you, West Virginia, I'm not allowed to use red or blue. Those are earmarked for police, fire, and ambulance.
James got his hand up.
Yeah, Stephen, we probably about 18 months ago started the transition to green, and we just went straight from amber to green and white, and essentially that's only for our large vehicles that are likely to be encountered in the lane. So in other words, none of our supervisors' vehicles, etc. But yeah, we are not like Jeff. We're not able to use red or blue, so we just went straight to green.
That's helpful to know. We in Minnesota, we've been using blue lights since about the mid 80s, and there has been some discussion around the use of green lights, versus blue. And when talking to our Michigan partners up there, they had done a move to green, and but when they found out what we were doing using lighting in the field, we actually have personal wearable lights that we have issued through a company called Guardian Lights, if you guys are aware of it. And we elected to use a amber green combination that flashes. And what our concern is, because we designated green essentially for personnel, we weren't necessarily ready to move away from blue on our vehicles to green and maybe differentiate the two. And Michigan had made the comment that they wished they had done that, because when they moved to green, it seemed as though, just like any other lighting color, people get used to it and it doesn't stand out as much as anymore. So they were kind of hoping they could roll back that decision. But being as though you guys have never tried blue, I can totally understand your reason for going green. So thank you.
Yeah, and so we also heard from Scott in Connecticut. Said Connecticut went amber to green, no blue. And then Dan, that was just presenting, said PennDOT cannot use blue or red either, as it's designated as an emergency response vehicle. There have been changes that permit towing agencies to use red and blue lights, but only rear facing. Okay, any other questions, comments, thoughts? Yep, you bet. Okay. Oh, there we go. Oh no, that's Stephen again.
Sorry, Jeff, it's me again. If it's all right, I just wanted to make a comment that we here at MnDOT, we've actually got a research project right now with the University of Minnesota where we're evaluating our conspicuity. And it was all stemmed because of the amount of rear end crashes we had during snowplow operations. It had been getting pretty bad, just like I'm sure many of you. And one of the things that the research project, what it does is it evaluates public perception and also identification of our vehicles. And so the chevron is kind of the pattern that most people are using. And so far in our preliminary results, we've actually found that with the research we've done, the checkerboard has more of a follow inclination, whereas the chevron has more of a passing inclination. And so we're actually in the midst right now of doing an implementation on 100 of our trucks with the checkerboard, red and fluorescent lime green, and we're going to evaluate that over well, whatever winter we have left this year and next winter as well. So I just wanted to share that.
All right, thanks, Stephen. James.
Yeah, Stephen, I'm just curious. I'm sure you're aware of the NCHRP report and what their findings were on conspicuity. If not, it'd be interesting to see. And I to be honest with you, I can't remember, because that was 18 months ago or so, exactly what the report said. I know what we ended up doing, but I'm just curious because it was pretty detailed report, not just on lighting, but also conspicuity. So it'd be interesting to see how your research jives with the national research.
Yeah, that's a good point, James. And in fact, that report, along with the Clear Roads report as well, was part of the literary review that helped shape the research project itself. And we're diving in a little bit deeper as far as positioning and flash patterns regarding lighting too. So it's not just conspicuity, it's lighting as well. And so we're getting into specifically, what lighting positioning and flash pattern would help determine the size of the vehicle to determine closing distance with vehicles that are approaching us. And so that and maybe finding out if there is a certain pattern or flash rate that maybe creates confusion with the traveling public too. So we're diving into it a little bit. We're hoping to dive into it a little bit deeper than what those reports have shown, but you are right, though they are very detailed.
Anybody else? All right, well, I appreciate Jeff and Dan for presenting today. This is a topic that I know has been brought up, you know, fairly regularly within our discussions, and so it's been a while since Clear Roads has specifically looked at it. So it is good to get that update. I do appreciate that. I think what I'll do is I'm going to post this not only on the webinars, implementation webinars section of our resources tab, but I'll probably post it also on that maintenance vehicle conspicuity page 16S3 on the Clear Roads website as well.